You are live, so this is your spotlight.
All right, perfect. Hey everyone, this is Ondrejs from Kontent.ai. I'm a developer relations leader here at Kontent.ai. I'm here normally alone with Ondrej, our integration, our developer evangelist.
Yeah.
But today we have a special two guests because we are currently hosting the MVP Summit. So these two are part of our MVP program. Maybe I will show a little bit later where you can find the information about our MVP program that Ondrej is taking care of. And let's start with a little interaction. Let's start with Brian. Hey.
Hey, thanks, Andrea. Thanks for having me on the show. Excited to be here. My name is Brian McKeever. I am a Kontent.ai MVP, been for a couple years now, and also co-owner at BizStream. We're a digital agency in the United States in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
All right, cheers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you, Ilash?
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Again, same like Brian, super excited to be here. My name's Ilash Mistry. I'm a CMS specialist at M&T Digital. And been a content MVP for a little bit less than Brian, but love it. And super happy to be here.
I gotta say, it's so nice to see you guys finally again live here and have a beer with you. COVID was a major issue past years. So it's really nice to have you here, and we can talk about all these things live, which is really
First
great.
time, right?
First time in the show. Yeah. Hopefully not the last.
No.
And it's also a special, it's not a coincidence that we chose Brian and Ilash, because Ilash takes care of the IMTech meetup.
Yep.
And Brian takes care of the Content Rocks podcast. So really very, very special two guests.
Yeah, happy to be here. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so let's move on to the typical stuff that we're going through. We'll probably just introduce a couple of content pieces that you, your colleagues, your other MVP friends put out. Maybe we'll discuss it a little bit in detail, and then we can move on to some other parts in developer relations topic itself. So we typically start with the content that we produced on our blog. So let's start with Ondrej's blog post.
And I immediately thought, hey, we're doing a project with Next.js. And I know a lot of other companies out there are using the tech.
Yeah,
you guys are.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did was I grabbed the link and I put it in our internal Slack, and I let our entire team, alert them, because I think they should know about this technique. It's not all that obvious when you first start with Next.js. So I think it was fantastic. Peace.
Oh, did you like it?
I did, yeah.
Cool. Happy to hear that.
And I think it doesn't really apply to this framework itself. Sometimes if you fear if you find some limitations in the framework, you can use these pre-built scripts to basically prevent everything.
Yeah.
It's just like input to the framework itself, and it gives you a lot of flexibility if the framework is like not the right fit for some use cases like we had.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
True. All right, so that's on our blog. People can definitely go check it out. Approved by Brian, so that's something. Now, I want to talk about Content Rocks. There were 2 episodes lately published, and I really liked both of those. I especially liked what you said about custom code. So can you tell people what was that about?
Oh my gosh. So first of all, you're asking me to remember something that happened a month ago, which is a challenge. And I think I made the point about how we should try to avoid it if we can and stay with things that are more maintainable by the system or the platform that we're using, more that are ingrained in the box of what you're paying for with these tools and technologies, because that frees up future bandwidth or store point capacity that you can do more value add things into your application. So, every time if you overreach with custom things, just remember, a year from now, you have to come back to it maybe to maintain it, to update it and keep it going, where maybe you should let the product owners of the product themselves do stuff like that. And that's really what I was trying to get at.
True. Yeah, I really liked it. It really resonated with me because it's interesting because I'm a developer at heart. And I always say, try to avoid custom code at all costs every time that you can. Of course, there are situations when you can't. But yeah, I really liked it. I also like the Azure Logic apps that Brian, your host on the podcast, made. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is there's so many out-of-the-box integrations that tool can do.
Yeah.
You can connect it to Kontent.ai and do various things with it. Post, publish, on build, all sorts of things with the webhook system that's in the platform. That's why it shines for me as a great integration platform.
Yeah, that was really cool. And there's also one point that Brian made about keeping the know-how in the company when people leave or come. So very interesting thing. Let's not give everything away. Make sure to subscribe to that channel. But there was also another episode with Bart.
Yeah,
that was very interesting.
Yeah, so that was actually one of my more favorite episodes I've done in a while. So Bart Ulmo, the CEO of Kontent.ai, joined me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we covered a lot about the announcement of what's happened with Kontent.ai and how it's its own company now. And we may have heard that in some of the news. You guys have done a great job about promoting the news in the newsletter and other blog pieces I've seen. But I asked Bart specifically, what about the next 100 days? What about going into the future? And what was his vision for how he wants to grow the business, basically? And it's kind of cool to talk at a high level. And then he actually kind of, exposed a few new tidbits of news that are coming here in the fall for Kontent.ai. So definitely, I'm not going to give those away. You should go listen to it. But
absolutely.
Bart's a great guy. And I'm really happy you could join me.
Yeah. Anyway, definitely subscribe to Content Rocks. Again, it's a really good thing to do. All right, what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, the next content piece from our another MVP, Tom Marshall from Cayenne, the UK digital agency, written a blog post about, again, Next.js.
Should I put it on the stream? Can I share your screen?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
there you go.
So that's
So the title is How to Improve Cache Efficiency and Reduce the Cost with Next.js. It's basically how you can do the on-demand rebuild. So you don't need to have a time-based one. So every 5 seconds you need to do some builds, even though your content is not changing. So he basically described it to go through, which was pretty nice because it can help you some costs, right?
Yeah, anything that can speed up the website or your build process is massive these days. So that's really good stuff.
Yeah, because you can end up with a pretty huge queue of content edits, even though your content didn't really change that much. So you can basically implement your even revalidation logic, and you can, based on the webhook and your root configuration, decide whether it's okay or you want to wait for another updates, or maybe you can save some space, or you're at the end of your charging period. You want to save some money, So this is something that you can use. With Next.js. So definitely recommend it. All right,
cool.
Let's switch back.
Yeah, we're here. Next thing I think is the Andy's article about Recombi and Kontent.ai. Unfortunately, he's also here in Brno, but we unfortunately did not invite him. I figured 4 people would be enough on a single update. So maybe next time we'll take Andy. Have you read the article? Any of you?
Yeah,
I haven't. No.
Actually, I know how the recommendation API is being built and baked into the luminary.com. It's also on the luminary.com blog site, the blog post. So this is something that I knew about. I haven't read the latest blog post, but it's definitely worth to check out how the modern digital agencies can leverage the AI and recommendation engines in combination with headless CMS to get the content that might be interested for your user. And then you, of course, need to validate the results by their visiting.
Right.
So behind the scenes, actually, today at the summit earlier, we actually discussed this a little bit about, do people really go all in with recommendations or use AI as part of their headless solution. And we talked about maybe why some people don't think that it's that easy to attain. And reminder, Recombi has a free tier that you can actually start a proof of concept on or something. So don't be afraid of it is one of the things we talked about, right, Alesh?
Yeah, definitely. I think like, especially with Recombi and the way that it works with content, Andy's been talking about this for ages, like, and it's great to see another blog post from him about this. So it's really good stuff.
Right. And basically they're using they're dog fooding. I mean, they're totally using it on their site, which is interesting to hear. And I'm not going to give it away, but he showed me some insights that you get from using that technology, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Ondrejs is showing the article, so that's really cool.
Yeah. I think this is great to just show the diagram.
Yeah. That's all you need.
Yeah. Then you can read details.
Cool. Yeah, we'll share the link to the article later in the notes. And I think the next thing is the MVP Summit, right?
Yeah.
So now we always talk about these things. So why don't you guys take over the MVP? What you do, and what is the MVP Summit?
So yeah, like MVP Summit for me is one of the things I look out for every year. Unfortunately, due to pandemic, we couldn't come, but this is great to come back to the content offices, talk to the fellow MVPs, talk to the product management team, talk to everyone in content, and really just gives us a chance to kind of sit down at a table in different rooms and just try and figure out things and collaborate and share knowledge, because it would just be the case that not just one MVP would be doing talking or one product manager doing talking. It's all about kicking everyone off so then they can all provide their own views, and I think it's totally valuable. And I'm sure Ondrej will be sharing at some point a link on how you could potentially be an MVP. But Brad, what's your views on this?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think the thing that really is the cherry on top, or the icing on the cake, is the fact that we're in a room today all day with the product team, the product owners, product management, and we were literally collaborating in the same way. We were asking for feedback on both sides, what's important for us as MVPs and as agencies and developers. And then, Martin, Tomasz, they're asking us back, like, okay, well, how can we help you? And it just goes both ways, more in person when we're here than even on Teams or even in email. And it's actually neat to see how you guys all kind of prioritize. Everyone wants a feature in the software. There's so many things we could do, but we all know there's only a limited amount of time that we can do those things. So how do we prioritize? How do we, as a group, agree on things? And we work through that today.
Yeah.
I was surprised. No fist fights.
No.
No one was
we were close.
Crying and freaking. Yeah, I mean, it was touch and go between us for a second. But you don't get that without being here. And I really thank you guys for bringing us over here, because it's just a huge value, I think, to both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been there for just limited amount of time because I have other things to do. But definitely, I like the vibe in the room, and I felt like both sides are getting something out of it. So that's cool. That's MVP Summit, and of course, it's not only formal meetings. We also go have fun in the evening and have a few beers, which is really nice.
Just a few.
Yeah.
Or one more.
So we've got an activity planned tonight that the team hasn't even told Alesh and I what we're doing
we don't
yet,
know what's going on,
and we have to go kind of catch up with them.
So
let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going. Sure. Sorry, I mean to keep you from that. So what's next? The Web Summer Camp?
Yeah, we can wrap it up with that.
Wrap it up. Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Maybe you didn't hear about it, but every single year there's a Croatian focused conference. It's basically divided into 2 days. The first one is workshop day, and the second one is the presentation-based day, where you have a little bit shorter presentation to consume the content and get the updates out of the world. So we participated with Ondrej. First day for the workshop, we.
Do you want to show the website?
Okay.
Yeah.
We accessed the web forum, which is being hosted by Janusz Boje and his CMS experts group. So this was basically our sweet spot, because you can meet people that are right on the top. In the CMS world, you can interact with them, basically have a discussion, because it was like workshop forum-ish setup. So we were discussing a few topics. Basically, the morning was around protecting your channels from developers, marketers, or even your content designers and stuff, to make a good design system, to make a good content model, and protect each group within each other, to have the strong and robust provision to set things up. And in the afternoon, there were some shorter use cases how we can implement and use either headless or normal CMS in various ways. And
it was very nice, and of course, on top of that, it's in Croatia, so it's a beautiful country. But we are on a short time, so let's keep it moving. Then I wanted Iles to talk about this new meetup. Then we can do the code update, and then we're finished. We can go enjoy your evening. So Iles, the new meetup, when is that going to happen?
So that's going to happen on October 13th. So we've got plenty of time. So you know, like, well, you probably will get the next video, I guess, and put in there as well. But that video, that meetup is going to be about Next.js. So we have a very special guest presenting, and that's going to be Ondrej.
Oh,
yes.
Nice. Good to know.
And we also have, and we're hopefully trying to get Tom Marshall, also another content MVP, on this. And I will be sharing out the link very soon on how you can register. So you can register by following me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and you'll get to be able to sign up. But one thing you'll also find is that you'll get to win some lovely merch. And if you want to do that, make sure you sign up and attend the meetup.
Yeah, there's always the contest is always during the meetup, right?
Yes, that's important, because I don't want people saying, "Oh, I joined." No, join the meetup, and then you'll get it.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's put it in our calendars.
Yes.
And looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely put a link in the discussion or the description itself.
Sure. Right. Now the code update.
Yeah. I won't make it long. So we have one thing that is pretty interesting for me, and maybe for Brian, because he's more of a .NET based guy. We will release a new name services, because we had some problem with autofuck itself being baked in right into our SDK. So we decided to make it obsolete. If you want to have a multiple clients, for example, one configuration for preview, one configuration for published data, one configuration for other projects or whatever, you can now register them via the factory design patterns, which is well known for anybody who's doing the .NET based or even like enterprise based design patterns. So you can register as you want, and you don't really need to have an autofuck be installed. You can do it as your way. And if you want something more, or you want to rebound it to the autofuck, you can implement your own interface. So this will be probably released by the end of this week, maybe from the beginning, because it's still waiting for me, and we have MVP summing going. So it will be probably beginning of the next week. And hopefully we will move to the new way of generating models for .NET to have them more and more, let's say, intelligent or more complex, so that you don't need to write the facade over them.
Well, that's important too, because that's one of the best practices you guys have published, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we usually talk to end clients and developers who are new to the .NET way of consuming the delivery API. Look at those best practices. I highly recommend those. I think they are well done. So good job, guys, on getting those out there.
Cheers. And that's basically it. We have some more updates, but we can save them for the next month to have them all concluded and ready.
Absolutely. So thank you for being with us. It's been 20 minutes, way longer than is our usual. But we had two special guests here. Thank you again for joining.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
See you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.